Let's start with something that you probably never dared to think about with brutal honesty. Do you really believe that the events in your life are the result of pure chance? Think about those coincidences that left you stunned. Those coincidences that border on the impossible. Does it really seem logical to you that they are mere whims of fate? Don't deceive yourself. It's not chance. It's not coincidence. It's a silent call that you've been ignoring for too long. Synchronicity, that term Carl Gustav Jung left us, is not a theory to distract idle minds. It's a window into the deep architecture of the universe. A universe that is not a chaotic machine spinning aimlessly, but a sensitive structure that responds to your internal state, to the vibration of your thoughts, to the hidden energy of your deepest desires. But here's what no one has told you. If you're not attentive, if you let your mind drown in the daily noise, those signals will go unnoticed. They will be like constellations you never look at because you live with your gaze fixed on the ground. How many times have you felt that the universe is whispering something to you? How many times, just when you needed it the most, did that person, that opportunity, that phrase in a forgotten book appear? Jung said that meaningful coincidences are mirrors of the soul, reflections of a hidden order that connects your inner world with the reality you inhabit. It's not cheap magic, it's deep psychology. It's the echo of your unconscious manifesting on the surface of the physical world. But here comes the trap. If you insist on living from the rational mind, from the tyranny of cold logic, these connections dissolve like smoke. Let me put it to you another way. What if everything you've considered coincidence was actually an encrypted map? A map that guides you to your true purpose. But to decipher it, you have to wake up from the slumber. You need to sharpen your perception until you are able to detect the subtle signals that life throws at you when you least expect it. And I warn you, this is not a comfortable path. It's not for those who settle for the mediocrity of automatic existence. It's for those who have the courage to look beyond the obvious. Did you know that the human unconscious is an unfathomable ocean where currents of intuition cross that defy all logic? The unconscious doesn't sleep. It's constantly registering patterns that escape ordinary consciousness. And it's precisely there that synchronicities are born. It's not that events align by chance, it's that your unconscious, in its infinite processing capacity, detects those connections before you do. The external reality thus becomes a mirror of your internal landscape. When you align with your true essence, the universe responds. It always does. But few know how to listen. Imagine for a moment that every thought in your mind was a kind of silent magnet, attracting events that vibrate at the same frequency. It's not a poetic metaphor. It's a faithful description of how your psyche and the environment interact. What you believe, what you feel with visceral intensity, becomes a silent command to the universe. And it responds, but not like a blind machine, but like a deep intelligence that orchestrates events with a precision that defies all rational explanation. I'll tell you bluntly, life is not a random succession of circumstances. It's a carefully woven narrative that waits for you to read it with wide open eyes. But most prefer to close their eyes and keep stumbling over the same stones. They prefer to believe in the tyranny of chance, because that way, they don't have to face the terrifying responsibility of being the co-creator of their own destiny. It's easier to think everything is casual than to accept that we are architects of our own reality. There are those who, in moments of absolute despair, have seen doors open that shouldn't have existed. People who were on the edge of the abyss, and suddenly, an improbable coincidence saved them from the final fall. Coincidence number It's synchronicity extending a hand at the crucial moment. It's the universe saying, it's not your end yet. You still have something to discover, something to live. But I warn you, these signals are not eternal. If you ignore them systematically, if you refuse to listen to them, they will eventually fade away. The universe doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you don't tune your inner ear, you'll lose the connection. You'll live in a state of existential deafness, dragging yourself through a life that feels empty because, deep down, you've disconnected from the source that gives it meaning. Jung's psychology wasn't just an intellectual curiosity. It was a compass for navigating the chaos of existence. He understood that the symbols that populate our dreams and the coincidences that emerge during wakefulness are part of the same secret language. A language that, if you learn to decipher it, will reveal the route to your deepest purpose. Think about it. What good is it to live anesthetized by routine, repeating patterns that lead you nowhere, when the universe offers you constant clues to change course? You are surrounded by signs, but you'll only see them if you choose to leave autopilot mode. Only if you have the courage to ask yourself, what is life trying to tell me at this very moment? There's a reason why people who follow their intuitions seem to have almost supernatural luck. It's not luck. It's acute sensitivity to the synchronicities that others ignore. They don't wait for logic to give them permission to act. They feel, they intuit, they dive in. And by doing so, they open doors that remain invisible to others. Here's the key that can transform your existence. When you live in tune with synchronicity, you stop desperately chasing results. Instead, the results begin to chase you. Opportunities, the right people, unexpected paths begin to manifest with an unsettling precision. Not because you're forcing anything, but because you've become a living magnet for experiences that resonate with your true nature. I'm going to propose something radical. For the next few days, observe. Don't just look, truly observe. Pay attention to those coincidences that seem too perfect to be accidental. Ask yourself what hidden meaning they may have. And most importantly, act accordingly. Don't let fear paralyze you in the face of the possibility that life is guiding you. Because here's the most fascinating thing. When you respond to these signals, when you follow them without questioning them from the rigidity of logic, something extraordinary happens. Your life begins to align with a fluidity that once seemed impossible. Obstacles vanish, doubts are cleared, and for the first time in a long time, you feel that you are part of something infinitely bigger than yourself. Are you willing to live this way? Are you ready to let go of the false security of linear causality and embrace the mysterious dance of synchronicity? Because if you do, get ready. Get ready for the universe to surprise you in ways that even your boldest mind can't imagine. It's not about magic. It's not about superstition. It's about understanding that reality responds to the whispers of your soul. It's about accepting that every thought, every emotion, every genuine desire is sending a signal that the universe picks up and reflects in the events of your life. So open your eyes wide. Tune your intuition. Listen to the silent language around you. Life is not an accident. Life is a constant dialogue between your inner world and the cosmos. And the question is, are you really listening? Now, there's something that almost no one dares to consider when we talk about synchronicity. The role of repressed emotions in the creation of these coincidences. Because I'll tell you up front, the conscious mind is only the tip of the iceberg. It's in the hidden depths of the psyche where the true connections that shape your reality are cooked. The emotions you don't express, the ones you bury out of fear or shame. don't disappear. They transform into latent energy that keeps sending signals to the universe without you realizing it. And those signals, even though you ignore them, are picked up. That's why, many times, life puts in front of you situations that stir precisely those feelings you thought you had buried. Not to punish you, but to force you to see them, to face them once and for all. Jung's psychology wasn't just an intellectual curiosity. It was a compass for navigating the chaos of existence. He understood that the symbols that populate our dreams and the coincidences that emerge during wakefulness are part of the same secret language. A language that, if you learn to decipher it, will reveal the route to your deepest purpose. Think about it. What good is it to live anesthetized by routine, repeating patterns that lead you nowhere when the universe offers you constant clues to change course? You are surrounded by signs, but you'll only see them if you choose to leave autopilot mode. Only if you have the courage to ask yourself, what is life trying to tell me at this very moment? Has it ever happened to you that you keep running into the same type of people over and over again? That you repeat relationship patterns that end the same way, even though the faces are different? It's not bad luck. It's not coincidence. It's the external projection of an unresolved internal conflict. Jung called it the confrontation with the shadow. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, arranges the necessary scenarios for you to face your own wounds, and the more you resist, the stronger the signals become. At first, they're subtle, almost imperceptible. But if you persist in ignoring them, I guarantee they'll explode in front of you with a force impossible to overlook. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it doesn't want you to live a life of half measures. It wants to push you, even though it hurts, toward your full realization. The fascinating thing is that these experiences not only show us who we are, but who we could become if we dared to interpret them correctly. Synchronicity is not just a mirror, it's also a door that opens to unexplored territories of your human potential. Each meaningful coincidence not only reflects you, it also invites you to evolve. Now I want you to think from another even deeper angle: the relationship between synchronicity and dreams. Because dreams are not mere nocturnal fantasies. They are the laboratory of the soul. In them, your unconscious unfolds symbols that often replicate in wakefulness through synchronicities. Has it never happened to you that you dream of something, an image, a person, a place, and days later, without rational explanation, you cross paths with that same thing in reality? That's not an accident. It's the external manifestation of an internal message that seeks to reach full consciousness. The unconscious is constantly seeking ways to communicate what you don't want or don't know how to face. That's why dreams and synchronicities are not separate phenomena. They are different chapters of the same hidden book that you are called to read. I'll put it this way. Your psyche doesn't know the boundaries between the internal and the external. To it, everything is a single playing field. That's why, when you ignore what your inner self is trying to tell you in dreams, life will show it to you on the external stage through synchronous events. It's as if the universe said, "You didn't want to listen to the whisper, here's the shout." But wait, there's something even more unsettling. Something that borders on the mystical, but stands firmly in deep psychology. Intuition as a compass for navigating synchronicity. Because intuition is not magic, it's a biological radar system that detects patterns before the rational mind can comprehend them. The great geniuses of history, visionaries who changed the course of humanity, trusted this inner compass blindly. Not because they despised reason, but because they understood that reason is slow, limited, and sometimes blind. Intuition allows you to anticipate synchronicities, to feel them coming like an electric current before the storm. It's that inexplicable hunch that pushes you to change direction at the right moment, to make decisions that defy logic but mysteriously turn out to be the right ones. Listen closely. The more you train your intuition, the more precise the meaningful coincidences in your life become. As if the universe rewards your listening ability by fine-tuning the symbolic language it uses to guide you. It's not fantasy. It's the culmination of a deep dialogue between your subconscious mind and the sensitive structure of reality. And here's another dimension that very few explore. Psychological time. Because synchronicities don't obey the rigid timeline that most people assume is the only one. Number synchronicities operate in what we might call soul time, where past, present, and future intertwine in a way that future events send echoes to the present, and present decisions rewrite past experiences. Yes, what you've lived is reinterpreted under the light of new coincidences that completely reshape your personal history. When you understand this, you stop seeing your life as a chain of disconnected events and start seeing it as a network of meanings in constant evolution. And it's at that moment when true alchemy happens. You begin to see patterns where you once saw chaos. You discover that nothing has been in vain, that every experience, no matter how painful or incomprehensible it was silently weaving the tapestry of your purpose. But let's not stop there. There's one last piece of this puzzle I need you to understand. Synchronicity doesn't just connect you with your own unconscious, but also with the collective unconscious. Jung spoke of this concept to describe that vast psychic ocean we all share. A universal memory that transcends cultures, eras, and borders, and stores the fundamental archetypes of human experience. When you experience a meaningful coincidence, you're not only in contact with your personal narrative, but with the deep currents of human history. You're touching a level where your individual decisions intertwine with the great collective narratives. That's why, sometimes, you feel that a synchronicity isn't just relevant to you, but it has a broader echo, almost as if it were part of a greater cosmic symphony that you can't fully hear, but whose vibration you feel in every cell of your being. So I ask you a direct, uncomfortable, but necessary question. Are you going to keep walking as a blind spectator through the theater of life? Or are you going to dare to read the hidden script unfolding before your eyes? Because once you cross the threshold of ordinary perception and enter the dance of synchronicities, there's no turning back. Life stops being an accident and becomes a constantly unfolding masterpiece. And you are the artist, never forget that. But wait, there's something else you may not have considered, and it's crucial to close this journey we've gone through together so far. There's a phenomenon, a secret silenced by most, which is the ability to actively create your own synchronicities. Yes, you heard me right. It's not just about observing them, not just about deciphering them, but about consciously provoking them. How? By changing your internal frequency. Because the universe, this one that responds with such precise signals, doesn't distinguish between what you desire and what you fear. It responds to your predominant energy. If your internal dialogue is filled with doubts, guilt, and grudges, guess what kind of coincidences you'll start attracting? Exactly. The ones that reinforce that same narrative of limitation. But if you manage, and I say this with absolute certainty, if you manage to dwell in a state of mental openness, of genuine curiosity about life, of absolute trust in your path, then you start moving the invisible strings that activate the synchronicities in your favor. And here's the final bombshell. When this happens, the boundary between what you dream and what you live starts to blur. What once seemed a distant desire begins to materialize in ways you could never have planned with your logical mind. Life stops being a series of random obstacles and becomes an intimate dialogue between you and the universe. The key is understanding that you are not a victim of circumstances. You are an active participant in the cosmic conversation. What you think, what you feel deeply, what you imagine intensely is picked up by that invisible web that holds reality. Every day is a question you send to the universe, and every synchronicity is an answer that arrives laden with meaning if you know how to look. Look, I don't want this video to just end as a reflection you listen to and forget. I want that when you close this video, you start seeing your life with new eyes, that you dare to play with reality like a modern alchemist, transforming every experience into a clue towards your hidden purpose. Do me a favor. When you finish this video, don't leave without posting a phrase in the comments that encapsulates this awakening. Something like, "The universe always responds." Or, if you dare to go even deeper, "I am the author of my own coincidences." I want to hear from you. I want to see how this conversation expands beyond the screen. And if this journey through the folds of synchronicity has resonated with you even a little, I invite you to subscribe, because what we're doing here is not just another video on the internet. It's a joint exploration into the most fascinating mysteries of the human mind and the reality we co-create. And trust me, what comes after this video will blow your mind even more. Subscribe, activate the bell, and join me on this path that I promise you has only just begun. And to say goodbye, I won't just say, until next time. I'll say this. The next time you feel that something too perfect to be coincidence happens in your life, I want you to remember these words. I want you to stop for a second, smile silently, and think, I saw it coming. Because from today on, you will no longer walk as a blind person in a world of symbols. From today, you will walk as a conscious traveler, reading the secret language of the universe. I'll see you at the next synchronicity.